go ahead and introduce yourself and tell me what film you're presenting here at the Asian Pacific Film Festival.
Absolutely. My name is Randall Okita, and I'm the writer and director of a film called The Lockpicker.
What is the Lockpicker about? It's a narrative film?
Yeah, it's a narrative feature about a teen thief that's sort of getting pulled into a cycle of violence, and he's trying to figure out how to get out of it. We meet him in the aftermath of suicide of a friend, and he sort of goes through a couple of unlucky events, and he's trying to figure out how to be out there in the world, you know.
So, how did you come up with the story? Where did the original idea came from?
It is the Lockpicker is based on sort of some of my life experiences and some people close to me, and we really wanted to sort of tell a story. From a teen's point of view, so we call it a bit of a psychological portrait. You know, instead of experiencing a movie where you're watching a teenager sort of fall through the cracks, we wanted to give people the experience of what it would be like to be in that character's shoes, and unexpectedly, get sort of tossed into this dangerous situation.
So were you you were the thief at one point?
Sure, absolutely, yeah. You know, I got into a little bit of trouble, and I had a couple of experiences of violence, and when those things kind of stack up and it's unlucky, and if you don't have sort of a solid safety net in some of those moments, I mean, it's hard enough just being a teenager alone, those things can get a little bit scary sometimes. And so we really wanted to sort of tell a story that might help an audience not only identify with, but sort of empathize and understand what that situation might be like.
Talk to me about the cast of your film. Who did you bring in?
Yeah, absolutely. So we sort of we partnered with a Toronto high school. So myself and a couple of the other producers have quite a bit of experience sort of teaching film or doing youth filmmaking workshops. So we thought, it would only make sense if we were trying to tell the story about a teen sort of community that we involved them in it. So we worked with a large number of youth behind the cameras as well as in front of the cameras to learn about the filmmaking process, and we had a lot of first-time performers in front of the camera. So our lead, Keegan Tang, was a first-time performer, and we sort of embedded ourselves and worked with these teenagers over a series of months to kind of portray a real teen experience and to try to teach them about some of the trials and tribulations of storytelling, and sort of tell them about why we were trying to tell this story as well as how we were trying to tell it. And I think it really comes through in the final film, this sort of feeling of a more authentic teen experience, as opposed to some of the classic mistakes I think people make are getting older actors to play younger characters and that kind of thing, where and it sort of feels like it's a bit more of a facade.
Don't you, was it easy to work with teens? That's the reason why they like to cast older actors
Sure.
to play teens. But you literally use some inexperienced teens.
Yeah.
Was it difficult?
I think in some ways yes, in some ways no, in terms of an authentic portrayal of a teen experience, or in terms of them coming across as realistic characters that you would actually meet and that would actually have some of these experiences, it was much easier. I think our lead, Keegan, pulled off an incredible sort of heartfelt performance, and I think it was easier for him in some ways than somebody with more experience, because I don't think he realized how hard it was supposed to be. And it's a pretty incredible experience. And then in terms of the difficulties, we sort of knew what they were going to be going in, and what we did is we sort of built our schedule around that, and built the whole production sort of style around that, so that we could allow for some more time for some more experimentation. And the way that I approached the script, I didn't give it to them all up front so that they had to memorize it and figure out their character arc. We went day by day, and we shot chronologically in script order, so that they could go on the journey of those characters. And we cast very particularly so that people were playing sort of maybe a version of themselves, or something that they could definitely pull off, and that they wouldn't have to do a lot of work that they didn't know how to do yet.
Mm-hmm. as an indie project, you probably had to pull off many different types of challenges. What do you think was the greatest challenge on this project?
I think that was it in terms of, it was a great challenge to sort of convince people that this was a production methodology that made sense and that could work. So initially, I think it seemed like a bit of a crazy endeavor. But once we had a few core members on board and once things started to roll, it really took on a life of its own, as these things sometimes do. And people got 100% behind it, and we got some really, really amazing stuff. But I would say that would be the biggest challenge, just in terms of how you could do this with an inexperienced cast and a young indie crew over such a long period of time on so few resources. But like I say, I think it really paid off.
What was the set location? Where was this?
We shot this in and around Toronto, so it's sort of the film is set sort of in a suburban North America sort of scenario. So high school, part-time job, his house, but we shot it in and around Toronto. Yeah.
Was Toronto like a chosen setting because of just a convenient location where you're from, or is it because that's the closest thing that probably relates to your life?
Yeah, no, that's for me, I grew up out west in Calgary, and so for me, emotionally, it was set in Calgary. But I think a lot of sort of suburban areas in North America, but especially in Canada, are very, very similar. And so for me, there's a lot of moments of him sort of riding the bus from one place to another, and I think this is a very particularly suburban experience of a teenager, getting to school, getting home, getting to the part-time job, and it can often contribute to this feeling of sort of isolation and floating around and disconnectedness, which I think a lot of teenagers have already. So that sort of magnifies it in this geography that we find ourselves in.
Boy, you really make it sound like being a teenager is so difficult now these days.
I think it can be. I think not for everybody, but it certainly can be. Yeah.
And why is it so important to show your film here at the Asian Pacific Film Festival?
I mean, we're so honored to share the film with any kind of audience, but I think particularly the community here is doing some really incredible work, and to be able to be highlighted in this way within this community, and for the festival, what am I trying to say? To have the festival, bless the film with its support, and to share it with such a supportive community that will be able to see themselves in the film in a very special and particular way. It kind of means the world to us, and I think that it's important work that they're doing, and it can really change the hearts, I think, of some of the audience members that will see it.
Terrific. And after this festival, or after this film, do you have any other upcoming projects that you're planning to do?
Yeah, we've got a couple of things. I'm writing another feature, so that'll be coming up, and then I'm working on a virtual reality project right now with the National Film Board of Canada. That's going to be beautiful and spectacular as well.
And be sure to keep your browsers tuned to lrmonline.com for the latest news, bochinche, and analysis.